I gotta hit it twice. Turning off my air. Hey, everybody. I forgot to take off my gym shoes. I just realized I went. I was gonna go for a walk a couple hours ago, and it was raining. It's already got my gym shoes on, and I was all ready. And I was like, "Mom, you want to go?" She's like, "Is it raining?" It was freaking pouring out. Anyway, guys, we're finally gonna get into Stephen McDaniels, and depending on how long this lasts, I might do that Idaho video after. I got the thumbnail ready, but let's see how this goes. I want to introduce the Stephen McDaniels case so then I could start releasing the files like pre-records and stuff. So, is anybody not familiar with the Stephen McDaniels case? Crazy case. Okay. Like I said, I got the files like I feel like it's almost been year, 2 years ago, maybe. Yeah, this guy. Okay, hold on a second. Let me share my screen real quick. Um, it's freaking crazy. We're not gonna, I mean, I have so much stuff, so I just want to go through and introduce it and then I'll upload it, but I want to familiarize you guys to the stuff. I can't talk, but let me share. Hold on, let me share my screen and I'll show you who he is real quick. And then we'll watch some videos. We'll talk about him. I got a little summary I want to read, just like a quick summary of what it's about. But this is him. Okay. So they call him the killer next door because he killed Lauren Giddens. Um, she was his neighbor. They were on law school, and he was like spying on her. He had broken into her apartment prior. He had the master key. Okay. Um, so I'm gonna upload his interview. Maybe we'll watch some clips of his interview. We are gonna watch the news interview today too. But what I wanna do is I wanna read his. You remember when, we were watching the, Koberger stuff about if he was gonna have to stand up and say what he did? Remember they kept saying it was called allocution, like, when they come out and they say what they did? Well, he wrote one out that's called allocution. He wrote out, like, the detailed description of what he did. Now, I'm not sure if it was necessarily a part of the plea deal that he had to do that. I don't really know. No, because he actually took it to trial, did he not? Anyway, he wrote it out. So we're gonna read in his writing what he said happened, what he did, okay? Um, but he's the one with the big God. Hold on a second. Let me bring up it's a crazy one. It reminds me of almost like um what's her name? Stephanie Lazarus vibes. Like just because it's like so odd, the person is so odd and so just it'll go down in the books as just like one of the weirdest. Like the guy is strange. That interview, which like I said, we'll watch in a minute. So this is Lauren right here. That's the one that he killed. He broke into her house. You'll hear what he said he did. So I'll just wait to say, but he did end up breaking into her house and killing her. And then he took her body, chopped it up in pieces. They only found her torso, which he thought the trash was running late. So he thought like I think it was a day late because of holiday or something. So he thought it was long gone. He thought he was good to go. Oh, you got to see his reaction when he finds out they found the body. Well, they found her torso because they didn't find her whole body. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me bring up. So he was a law school graduate in Macon, Georgia. Um, Lauren Giddens was 27 years old. It happened in 2011, July 2011, July 25th, 26th, 2011 is when it happened. Um, she had just graduated from Mercer University and was preparing to take her bar exam. Steve McDaniels, who lived in the same apartment complex, um, he had like this obsession with her. He broke into her apartment, he strangled her, and then dismembered her body. Her torso was found in a trash can outside the complex while the other body parts were never recovered. Um, The police found disturbing evidence on McDaniel's computer, including searches on how to commit murder and break into apartments. They found like videos of him, like he would take his camera, like put it up where he could look into her apartment. Um, so he pled guilty. So it didn't go to trial. I don't know why I was thinking he went to trial. So he pled guilty to murder and was sentenced to life in prison. But he is trying to appeal it, saying, well, you'll see, he's trying to claim that how it all went down. He's trying to get it appealed. But he is sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Okay, so that's Lauren. And I just wanted to give you a couple visuals so you guys could see. Um, so he ends up, I think he does an interview before that too, but I don't know if I seen the interview before, but then he has, I'm gonna upload these separately. He does the interrogation. They call him in for questioning on the 20, it was on the 30th, July 30th, right? They call him in. He goes in. He's there like, for a couple hours. Well, while he was there, nobody tells him that they found her body, well, part of her body. So he has no idea that they found anything. So the police say, "Can we search your apartment?" Okay, he lets them. So they leave the police station. They go and they search his apartment and stuff. And he's like at his apartment all day. The news is out front, so he's like, "Oh, I'll do an interview." He does an interview and she mentions that. He had no idea. So his reaction is crazy. And then they take him back in 10 hours after that first interview, take him back in to interview him again. So that's what I'm going to upload after this. We'll go through, unless if we end up going through this and you guys want to watch some of it now. But I have there's so much stuff to go through. So I have that all ready to upload as a pre-record, but I wanted to introduce the case first because it really is a very disturbing case. But yeah, look, she's a pretty girl. He had this weird obsession with her. Law student, was about to have the rest of her life ahead of her. But yeah. Okay. So let me read. We're going to start out reading his allocution, his account of what he says he did, and then we could watch that interview if you want. That weird interview with the news, I mean. Okay. All right. So let me bring that up. Let me take a sip of my. The those Paul calls, if you guys want to join my Patreon to see those calls, they're definitely not YouTube appropriate. They're like kind of like comparable to what Phone Calls from Prison is putting on our Patreon, like those type of calls. Definitely not something I would put on YouTube. But I was informed that actually people do want to hear them. People were like, yes, they'd be interested in hearing them. I got them like when I ordered those calls, like one last year, but I couldn't upload them to YouTube, and I just didn't know if I didn't even think people would want to listen or it would be a thing. But I was talking to Kay Core, she's like, yeah. And then I'm seeing there are people that are interested in hearing them. So they're like Jenny or Baby Girl and Paul's sex calls, I guess, or whatever. So I have 3 of them up already. If you guys want to join Patreon, I set up a new Patreon. Yes, I was saying I have the right here. And so yeah, go check it out. It should link to my Patreon. Okay. Let's read the allocution. So this is in his words, okay? Stephen McDaniels. I almost think we should watch the interview first. Yeah, so you guys could kind of see anybody that's not familiar with the case, you could see his demeanor and how weird he is. Let's watch the news interview first, and then we'll read this, because I think that might be, because if anybody hasn't seen him, you gotta see. And some of the stuff that's in the files is he was in like this play. So I'm not gonna play the whole play, but like clips from the play. He looks, just so. He's such an odd guy, I swear. Okay, let me play a couple of these interviews, or the one interview for sure. Let me do that first, just so you guys can see what this guy's all about.
Yeah, Lauren was my neighbor. We're just trying to find out where she is at this point. I mean, no one has seen her
Here.
since Saturday. I mean, the last time anyone heard from her was an email that she sent out, and no one's heard from her since.
Did you see her hang out with anyone at the time, anything like that?
I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I haven't seen anything. I mean, we always hear noise outside, but it's just people walking by pretty much.
And she just recently graduated from Mercer?
Yeah, she and we were both JD students. We graduated back in May.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see her?
I mean, she's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, I mean, we don't know where she is. I mean, the only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her. Because I mean, we went over. One of her friends had a key. We went inside and tried to see if there was anything amiss, but I mean, she had a door jamb that was sitting right by it, so there was no sign that anyone broke in. I mean, the door was locked when everyone got here. I mean, we just don't know where she is.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of. I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body.
Had you heard? Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's how we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay?
Freaking out is he thought that the trash already picked up the trash, which would have been her body. So he thought like he's good to go. Like this, she's down. You know what I'm saying? So he really, the fact was she just said, oh, you know about the body, like not like she thought he knew. Did you see his reaction? He just sat there like, body? Because he knew, and now he knows he's screwed. His plan did not go the way he thought it was going to go.
Sure.
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
Okay, that's the first clip of video Michelle Casada did with Stephen McDaniel last Thursday, a week ago. To you, did he seem genuinely upset with the fact that the body had been discovered?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, his expression, as you see in the beginning of the interview, he's very forthcoming with information. You know, he's calm. At this point, he only thinks that she's missing. So I guess he's, just offering information, anything that he can do to help. And then as soon as I mentioned the body, which I assumed that he already knew since everyone had been out there since 10 a.m. It had been all over the news, all over the web. And I guess he had been pulled in for questioning, and police, I don't know what police have told him. Police had told him at that time. So I guess no one had informed him that a body was recovered.
All right, this second video, what will we see?
Okay, so the second video is he actually gets pulled into the AT&T building next door. One of the employees brought him in, I guess, to just relax for a couple minutes after he found out about the news. And then he comes back out maybe 20 minutes later, and I asked him if he was okay, and he came up to me and began talking again. So at this point, our camera started rolling again, and he seemed receptive to it. He was not, he was not upset, saying that he didn't want to talk, so he just started talking again.
All right, clip 2 with Stephen McDaniel, Michelle Casada from last Thursday, guys.
You've been studying for the bar?
No one had seen her since Saturday because we all just, there's not a whole lot of interaction unless we're doing classes.
Right.
And she was doing the online version of it.
You all studied together, though?
We were in, there's two different people there's two companies that provide it. Kaplan provides it and Barbary provides it. I signed up with Barbary, and I've been doing the lectures that they have in the mornings. She was doing the Kaplan online, so I hardly ever saw her. I would see her go out running, but
What time would you go out running?
I don't even know when.
Was it at night or morning?
I saw her like midday a couple weeks ago. That was the last time I saw her, was coming back from the bar prep on the main campus, because we got moved over there for a week or two.
But she normally would run. That was
she ran all the time. She had a group that she would go running with. I don't know anyone that would want to hurt her. She was as nice a person as there is.
Was she moving soon? Did you know anything about her?
Yeah. She was going to be moving out today. She was supposed to move out today, because someone else was going to be moving into her apartment in the new law school.
Do you know if she was like, where is she from? Is she from Maryland?
Yeah, she's from up in
Can I just
Maryland.
put this on you so we can hear you? Is that all right?
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Here, and you can just hold on to her. Thank you.
Yeah, she's from Maryland.
Yeah, I mean, she was from up in Maryland. I mean, all her family was there, as far as I know. I mean, she.
What's going on in your mind right now? Like, what are you thinking?
Why would anyone do this?
She didn't hear anything.
No.
See anybody?
Yeah, I heard something. Maybe I could have helped.
Okay, don't worry. Do you want to sit down for a second? Get something to drink?
Do you know if a bunch of her friends are getting together or anything?
I mean, that's how I found out that she was missing. A bunch of her friends came over yesterday night around midnight, and they hadn't seen her since Saturday, so they were trying to find out where she was.
They were knocking on neighbors' doors and stuff?
They went in, they had a key to her apartment, and they checked around, didn't see anything out of place. I mean, it was locked when everyone got there.
That was midnight?
Yeah, around midnight, and then we went over to law school, see if maybe she was over in the library studying or something. And we looked up in the study rooms on the third floor, and there was no one there. And we came back, we looked around, and just tried to find anything to figure out where she was.
She doesn't have any family in Georgia?
I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, all of her family is from in Maryland.
Have you met her family before?
There was one time that I met them. They came down first year. She had a little dog, a little brown dog, that she would exercise out in front of the law school, and it got hit as she was coming across the road. I heard the car hit it and ran out, and she was there crying, and thankfully there was someone who came along who knew a vet or something, and they helped that, and her family came down I think a couple weeks after that or something. I met them just briefly,
Right.
but
Is there a boyfriend or
we've been trying to figure out. She has a boyfriend up in Atlanta, but someone called him, and he hadn't heard from her. Just no one could figure out where she was.
Who was the last person to be with her? You said that somebody had seen her on Saturday?
Yeah, she went over to a couple friends' house, Garen Mueller and Joe Cairns. They live over on Walnut, and they said that she was over there in the morning, and then that was the last time that anyone we've been able to find out from had seen her.
She hadn't mentioned what she was going to do that day or anything?
Joe, he got onto her computer last night to see if she had said anything. She'd sent an email out to some people that afternoon talking about like going out to eat or something. And the last thing that there was an email that she sent out after 10 that night where she sent to, I think it was someone in Atlanta, a friend of hers in Atlanta, and she said that she was afraid in her apartment that she thought someone had tried to break in on Thursday night, and she was afraid to stay in there. But
Where did you hear that from Joe?
He pulled it up, and we read it off the screen.
She had said that to a friend in Atlanta?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but
And you hadn't heard anything on Thursday night?
No.
She never came to you to tell you anything?
No, if she had, I could have done something. I could have lent her a handgun. I've got a little handgun that I have for defense. And
She said it slept over or something?
yeah, something. If she was afraid in her apartment, then get her out of there.
Is that tried to break in on Thursday?
That's what she said in the email. She thought that someone had tried to break into her apartment. She said, like, Macon hoodlums tried to break into my apartment on Thursday night.
Is that her car parked there? The Chevy?
No,
Small car?
no. I think that's the detective's car,
So
Detective
her car's not
Patterson.
even there?
No, it was here earlier, and they towed it. I mean, it'd been there for days, and then they towed it to, I guess, look through, see if there was. Yeah.
How did you find out that something was wrong with the police here? Was it like when you walked up a little while ago? Or?
No, I mean, the police were called last night, and they came and they looked around. They didn't see anything. I mean, they went in. We looked around the place. No sign of a struggle. No sign that anyone had broken in. Just nothing. Just she was gone. I mean, all of her stuff was there. Her ID was there. Her wallet was there. But
We've got a third piece of video here. Let's do that. And after that, we'll take the break and we'll come back and we want to talk to you about some of this and you can fill in some of the gaps now. All right, so guys, part 3 of the interview Michelle did with Stephen McDaniel from a week ago.
Where's the audio? We can't hear it.
And then this morning they knocked on my door. They were looking around trying to find anything. And a few of the other friends, Burpee and Garen and Ashley, they were here. They were here last night and they'd come back this morning. I just went out and talked with them, and then they moved us all over the side and they bussed us all down to the department and kept us there until I got back just a little while ago. Yeah, they took statements trying to find out if anyone had seen anything, if anyone had heard anything, when the last time anyone saw it was.
No, they haven't confirmed, at least not with us, that it was Laura that they found. Are you holding out any hope right now?
I hope, but if they found it on the property somewhere.
You hadn't heard anything about a body until you were talking to us earlier?
No. No, as far as any of us knew, they were still trying to just find her. I mean, we got an email this morning from some people that live on the other side of Kroger, on the other side of the river, that they had seen her in the past running in that area. We thought maybe someone had snatched her over there, or maybe she got hurt or something.
Hold on, I could show you. Hold on. Cicely, hold on 1 second. Oh, why did that bring up? Oh, yeah, this guy is whacked. I mean, he's just weird. He's just scary. I don't like him, guys. Don't like him. Yeah, because so he had the main master key. So he would like go into her apartment, break in when she wasn't there. And yeah, he scares me. Okay, hold on a second. It's cooling down, yeah. I had a bunch of his more recent pictures, but where did I put them? So I'll just have to Google it again. This is like what he looked like when he went to trial, kinda like this. Or he didn't go to trial. Never mind. When he was doing those court hearings when he was trying to appeal, I think. Keep forgetting. Why do I keep thinking he went to trial? Because he's trying to like appeal it now. He didn't go to trial. He took a plea deal. But wait, I had some other ones more recent where his hair is like all really shaved close. I can't remember what I did with them all. I had them. Oh, here we go. No, I had other ones too. Where did I put them? I don't know what file I put them in. Because I was gonna use them maybe for like thumbnails and stuff. I got a a bunch because, I mean, oh yeah, here they are. I have them on my phone. Hold on a second. Let me share them to myself. And then I want to read his allocution so you could see what he says happened. Well, let me email this real quick because I have a bunch, like 5 or 6 really good pictures with short hair. Okay, hold on. So he's saying, oh, we could watch this here. While those are loading, let me watch this before I read the allocution. We'll watch this real quick.
Today, convicted killer Stephen McDaniel questioned his former attorney and others as he tried to convince a Richmond County judge to grant him a new trial. McDaniel admitted 4 years ago to killing and dismembering his Mercer Law School classmate and neighbor, Lauren Giddings. Caitlin Heck breaks down what happened in the courtroom today.
Stephen McDaniel walked into the courtroom today with an entire cart full of documents. The morning got off to a bit of a slow start. He began by questioning Nancy Scott Malcor, who works with the district attorney's office. He asked very specific questions regarding court documents and transcripts of pretrial hearings. Now, this is the first time we've really heard Stephen McDaniel speak. At all of his pretrial hearings, it was mainly his attorneys who spoke for him.
How would you describe my demeanor at that meeting?
Now, things really didn't pick up until later in the afternoon as McDaniel began questioning his former attorney, Floyd Buford. And McDaniel decided to waive his attorney-client privilege, meaning that Buford had the ability to speak freely regarding his discussions with Stephen McDaniel. Buford described McDaniel today as weird and a bit odd, but he did say that throughout the entire process, he believed that McDaniel was innocent.
That up until the last couple of weeks of your case, I was strongly in your corner, believing you were innocent. But this computer evidence that came in from the GDI, the fact that you peeping in this Giddings apartment.
We also got a very detailed look today at discussions between McDaniel and his legal team in the days leading up to his guilty plea.
The graphic, specific, detailed confession that you made to Frank Hogan and I, which we were shocked about in the jail, and which you went into terrific detail about how you killed Lauren Giddings.
Now, in McDaniel's habeas, he claims that Floyd Buford, Frank Hogan, and the rest of his defense team failed to represent him effectively. Here's what Buford had to say today about that.
Started off facing a death penalty and ended up with life with the possibility of parole. You could get out one day, Stephen, and you viciously murder a woman and dismember her, and you still could be paroled. So I don't see how that's ineffective assistance.
Now, throughout the entire day, McDaniel remained very stoic, much like his parents who were sitting in the front row. They showed very little emotion, except for the very end of the day. His mother waited around as McDaniel was getting ready to leave the courtroom and waited to blow him a kiss. And McDaniel was not able to call on one of his last witnesses, his other defense attorney, Frank Hoke. He also intends to question Nancy Scott Malcor again regarding documents he had requested from the DA's office. The judge decided to call for a recess and said that the hearing would have to continue at a later date. In Richmond County, I'm Caitlin Heck, 13 WMAZ News.
Buford also brought up child pornography charges against McDaniel, saying the images found on McDaniel's computer were some of the worst he'd ever seen. McDaniel will not be prosecuted on those charges as part of his plea agreement. The next hearing date for this case has not been set. You can find more of Buford's comments from today, including detailed descriptions of McDaniel's confession on 13WMAZ.com.
I forgot about.
Hey everybody,
oh,
Dr. G here. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist.
I forgot about the CP charges, or the not charges, but what they found on his phone. Like, he's just sick. He does not need to be let out. That guy is scary. Oh, Ty, wait, I know you. How are you doing? Wow, hey, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. K-Court, you made it. Okay, so hold on one second. I want to read his allocution real quick, but first, and then we have like all his 4chan, I think it's called, right? All his posts and stuff, which we won't be able to get through all of them, but we could read some of them. But here, let me show you. Cicely, you were asking with a real short haircut, right? Here we go. Here's him with even shorter haircuts. That one's not as short, but like right there. That one's the same one. Oh, hold on. There we go. Hold on a second. Yeah. So that's about all from those. Okay, let's read his allocution. And you know another interesting thing, which like I said, I'm going to be consistently just releasing these like pre-records, interviews and stuff. It's kind of crazy because, wow, freaking StreamYard has a whole different setup. So down by, oh my God, I don't like it. The mic, it's like moving over my face. I don't think I like this new setup. Anyway, it's distracting. For somebody that's distracted like me, that's not good. So there's an interesting thing that I didn't even know that this was going on. So it's kind of complicated, but there's like 3 people that supposedly they're like a girlfriend that dated this one guy that supposedly said that he did it and like about how heavy her head was. There's some weird stuff in these files. So I'm surprised, like and I'm sure Steven has seen these files because he's probably like, shoot, I shouldn't have confessed because there's other people that I know it was him that did it, but there's other things that were said, like that 2 other people. Now I can't remember the one because I read it in the files and I have to go back through, but the one, there's like 4 women interview, and the one is the one that dated this guy, and I found the guy, and I'm debating if I want to show a picture of him. I don't know, but supposedly he said that Steven was innocent and said something about how heavy her head was and stuff, like weird stuff. Like, what the heck is going on? And then there was another guy that was admitting to doing it. So weird. This case is weird, and I didn't even know that stuff like that was even a thing. Okay, so let's read his allocution here. Wait, what are you guys doing? A redo? What's going on? Hey, Geraldine. Is everybody okay? Okay, so let's read the allocution real quick, and then So this is what they should have done for Brian Koberger right here. They should have made him do one of these. And I mean, look, they made him do it. So like, why couldn't they have done that for the plea deal? You know? Okay, so this is his account of what he says happened. If for some reason I go out, guys, stick around because it's my internet. I'm watching my bars go way down. Sometimes they bounce back up, but sometimes I'll lose internet for a minute. So if for some reason I go out, don't leave. I'll be back because usually it doesn't stay out long. Okay, here we go. On Sunday, well, let me try to make it one more bigger. Okay, that's not going to work. Okay. On Sunday, June 26, 2011, around 4:30 a.m., I entered Lauren Giddens' apartment with a master key I possessed. I was wearing gloves and a mask. I walked to her bedroom door and stood there, observing her sleeping. Oh, creepy. As I took another step, the floor creaked and she awoke. She sat up in bed, saw me, and said very calmly, "Get the F out." I leaped across the bed onto her and grabbed her around the throat. We tumbled out of the bed to the floor. In her struggle to get away, she moved her legs and lower body under her bed, preventing her from getting away or kicking me. I kept my hands around her throat as we fell to the floor. She reached up and was able to grab the mask and pull it off my head. She said, "Steven, please stop." I continued to strangle her until she stopped moving, and I remained that way, my hands around her throat, for several minutes, possibly as long as 15 minutes. She did not move anymore. I dragged her into her bedroom and placed her in the bathtub, then returned to my apartment. I remained in my apartment, mostly on my computer, throughout the day. Sunday, June 26th. I returned to Lauren's apartment around midnight Sunday to begin to dismember her with the hacksaw that was later recovered from the laundry room maintenance closet. I removed her limbs and head, wrapped them in several black trash bags separately, and discarded them in the Mercer Law School dumpster across the street from Barrister's Hall apartments. I cut up the mask, gloves, and my shirt and flushed them down my toilet. I wrapped her torso in black plastic trash bags and placed it in the green Barrister's Hall trash can on Tuesday, June 28th. Before daylight, I cleaned her bathroom. I never used the refrigerator in apartment 1. And no time before Lauren's death did I sexually accost her. At no point after the death did I perform any sexual act of any kind with respect to her remains. Okay, Stephen, you didn't do that, so you're good. I mean, you didn't do that, so you know what? That's no big deal. It's almost like, I mean, I don't know. I'm just taking it like it's almost like he wants points for like not doing that or something. I don't know. It's sick. But remember, I was saying, you remember this, I think, when I talked about this case before, on the note that's on her kitchen counter that says, I hope you get ARD. And it was a note from, like, I forget, like, a friend or family, but then I think he added it on there. Like, it was like, why? That was weird. Who's Tracy? That was your name, right? Wait, who is it? Hold on, let me make sure. Tracy, you're the one that knows this case really good, right? I think that was who it was. What was up with that? I always wondered about that. And maybe it'll explain it in this. Where am I at? Sorry. Okay, so she was I never used the refrigerator in apartment 1. At no time before Lauren's death did I sexually accost her. At no point after her death did I perform any sexual act of any kind with respect to her remains. She was wearing the pink running shorts when she died, and I never removed them. They were found on her torso just as I had left them. On Monday, I stayed home from bar prep class. Over the next several days, I rarely slept, used my computer extensively, yet still attended bar prep class on Tuesday and Wednesday. I joined the search party Wednesday night into the early hours of Thursday morning, June 30th, still in a dreamlike delusional state in which I believed at the time, while taking part in the search, that Lauren was still alive and that I had not done what I had done. Even searching the empty law school in a delusional hope of finding Lauren alive and well, as if I had not really killed her. During the weeks leading up to my actions and the days following, as I look back on it now, I can only describe myself as divided in mind, unable to account for how I could have committed these horrible acts, and at the same time also be able to carry on daily routines. It is difficult for me to explain why I killed Lauren and attempted to conceal my deed the way I did. The difficulty in explaining it lies in my own inability to understand it myself. I know that it was very wrong. I'm not delusional or without all morals or decency. Yet I acknowledge that something in my makeup, my psychology, my neuropathy, my own particular pathology perhaps, must explain it, but is beyond my reach. Lauren was my friend. Not a day goes by that I do not grieve over her death. I'm extremely sorry for what I did to Lauren and her family. I do not expect the forgiveness of Lauren's family, and there's no way I can ever deserve it. No words are sufficient to take away their pain. If I could take back what happened, I would do so. If I could restore Lauren to her family, I would. All I can say to Lauren's family and her many friends is I am very sorry. Like I said, guys, I am going to play. I have it already. I'm going to upload it as a pre-record. His 2 interviews where they take him in before that interview that we watched where he finds out that they found her body, and then they take him back in 10 hours later. I have them all combined in one. I'm going to save that for a pre-record because that's something you guys could just watch. So for this one, I'm going to try to get through some of the stuff where I have to like talk about it or read it or show you, you know. But look out for that because I'll probably upload it tonight or tomorrow. Okay, so now here's another thing. This is his writing here. He says, on June 30th, 2011, when the members of both Macon Police Department and Bibb County District Attorney's Office began investigating the disappearance of Lauren, I was approached by Detective David Patterson, to whom I gave a recorded statement. After the statement, as I was conversing with our law school graduates, oh, that's another thing. I have a couple other just audios that I will do, maybe in the second pre-record. And this other weird interview, they bring him in and his hair's cut. You guys may have seen it because I have seen parts of it on other channels, but he won't say a word. And I know he does that a little bit in the other interviews, but here I don't even think he says one word. And it's just he just sits there like this, and it's a weird angle. It's like facing like this weird angle. It's so weird. So sorry. Keep okay, so let's see what he has to say here. I didn't read this whole thing, right? So I'm not sure. I know he's complaining about the way he was treated, but let's see. So he gave a recorded statement. After the statement, as I was conversing with other law school graduates, we were ordered to a spot on the edge of the property from which we were not allowed to leave. When another graduate attempted to leave, a uniformed officer stopped him and forced him to return to where we were confined. Patterson then ordered us to come to him, at which point he told us we were going to be taken to a police station. Patterson pointed me out to another officer and ordered that officer to put me in the officer's car and take me to the detective bureau. I was never asked for consent to accompany the officer, but complied with police commands. When I asked if I could lock the door to my apartment, police told me I could not. I was then removed from the apartment complex where I had been living. At the detective bureau, I was subjected to a pat down by Captain Schlageter. I was placed in an interrogation room. When I requested a cup of water, Lieutenant Carl Fletcher responded by yelling a refusal at me. An armed guard was posted outside the door of the room at all times. I was inside it. Detective Patterson moved me to an office and conducted further questioning. When I refused to give consent for a search of my home, I was placed back in the interrogation room, still under guard, and was told I had to obtain permission if I wanted to get water. But wait a minute, though. I watched that interrogation. That's not what happens. That's a lie. They give him water twice. He goes and says, "Can I have some water?" And he just walks right out and they give him water. And then he agrees for them to search. So if he's talking about before he agrees, because then they go, I thought, and searched his apartment after that. So it has to be that, because now he's saying when I refused to give consent for a search of my home, but they had already searched it. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused here. I'm just wondering, like at first I was thinking this was another interrogation after the ones that the ones that I watched. But at those ones he gave him consent, unless if he's talking about like his family home. Let's see. I was placed back in the interrogation room, still under guard, and was told I had to obtain permission if I wanted to get water to drink or to use the bathroom. After an extended period of time in which I was not free to leave, Patterson returned and made repeated demands that I give consent for a search of my home. Patterson coerced me by use of peer pressure and in a preconceived deception to obtain consent under false pretenses. After I gave in to the demands, he told me to lift up my. Yeah, this was that one. His perception of this is so off. And I believe he probably believes that because he knows this is recorded. So he knows they can look and show if it's true or not. I think he really believes this is how it happened. That's not how I perceive this. So tonight, when I upload it, you'll see that is not what happens. I mean, he's pushing it like his perception is like he's making it seem a little bit more than now. The people do get mad. The detective is like, answer me, and like, you're gonna help me. I mean, they do that, but I don't remember them denying him water, and I don't remember them forcing him to agree to search his place because he didn't really fight that too much. Anyway, he told me to lift up my shirt. He did, but originally he showed him, like he lifted it up willingly. He's like, yeah. And then after they noticed the scratches at the end of the interrogation, he said, "Let me look at those scratches again." And he just lifted it up. It had been demonstrated that if I refused, I would be harassed until I complied. Not at all. And that I could not leave until police released me. Owing to the coercive atmosphere and the behavior of the police, I submitted to the demand. In neither instance was my consent a voluntary act. It was a submission to police coercion. After my apartment was searched, Patterson forced me from my home, claiming my apartment had not been released and that I could not stay there. Outside, Assistant District Attorney Elizabeth Bobbitt told me I could not leave the area of police control unless I first obtained permission from the police. When I was permitted to leave, I encountered a reporter who told me Lauren's body had been found on the property. I collapsed from the mental and emotional shock of the news because, despite my own actions at the time, my mental state was such that I was unaware of her death. I was given shelter inside the building next to the apartments, where I remained weeping uncontrollably for close to an hour. The news reporter said it was 20 minutes, but who knows? It's probably somewhere in between. As I emerged, several reporters approached me. When they departed, Patterson approached and ordered me to come with him. I was not asked. I was given no option to refuse. In the custody of police and members of the OA's office, or DA's office, while on the verge of hyperventilating, I suffered what an emergency medical technician diagnosed as a seizure. When I was restored to consciousness, Detective Patterson, Bib, DA's investigator James McDonald, ADA Bobbitt, and ADA Sandra Matson removed me from the EMT's care and placed me in the rear of the Macon Police Mobile Command Center. The EMT, who was African American with a light complexion, wearing rectangular lensed glasses and had multiple mole-like dark spots on the front of his cheeks, was blocked from entering the police vehicle to provide any further help. Inside the MCC, I attempted to rise from a prone position and told the people present that I needed to go to the hospital. Investigator McDonald responded by placing a hand on my chest, shoving me back down and pinning me to the seat. I was disoriented and had severe head pain, had lost sensation in my extremities, could barely breathe, and was suffering from impaired vision. I told the others these problems, pleading for help. Patterson ordered McDonald to lift my shirt, which he did without my consent. At that point, Sandra Matson said, "Well, we'll have the AMT look at you if you'll let us search your apartment." I could not leave. I was being deprived of medical care and believed my life was in jeopardy from some type of medical emergency. By that offer, police gained entry to my home. I never received medical care and fell into an impaired state in which I was barely conscious and not in control over my words or actions. So then when they take him back and do that second interview, like that's how he acted. Like he was just like in this like comatose, like he wasn't there, but now that I see how his perception was so off on the interview, like we don't have videos of him in the EMT, but it makes me doubt really what he's saying here. But like I said, not because I think he's lying. I think he just has this messed up perception of things. Like, okay. So after a short time of interrogation and detention inside my apartment, I was ordered out of my home and put back in the MCC. I was not asked, nor was I given any option to refuse. Police continued to search my apartment after my removal. In the MCC, as in my apartment, I was kept under continuous armed guard and was interrogated extensively. Late that night, Patterson removed me from the MCC and transported me to the Detective Bureau. I was not asked, was not given an option to refuse, and was not mentally aware enough to have refused had that option existed. Upon arrival at the Bureau, I was placed in an interrogation room for around 2 hours, roughly 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. of the next day. I was subjected to intense interrogation and insults by Patterson and Sergeant Kenneth Scott Chapman. At no point was I free to leave, nor was I ever appraised of my rights. During this time, nor had I ever been appraised at any earlier point. I was moved to Patterson's office, where interrogation, insults, and threats continued for around 4 more hours, which that might be recorded, but that didn't come in the files. So I don't know. The 4 hours after he was moved, I wonder if did that happen really? Patterson stated, "I hope they kill you," and later joked that I was going to be SA'd, eliciting laughter from Sergeant Chapman and another detective. I do not say these things to excuse my own conduct. I say them because they are the truth, and no other party involved in these events will tell these truths. These facts are important because they recount a small portion of the misconduct of the Macon police, that part known to me. No system which carries out its function by destroying the very principle it claims to uphold can long perpetuate itself. When police and prosecutors can only obtain evidence and convictions by violating people's rights, and testifying falsely, and when courts ratify such misconduct by the refusal to exclude evidence, when the testimony of police, true or false, unmistakably shows that a fundamental right has been violated, the entire system of criminal justice becomes a sham to conceal that those entrusted with upholding the law are its worst violators. A murderer knows and admits the wrong that is done in his crime. When law enforcement in all its forms does that which is wrong, but holds its actions up as which is right, it loses any vestige of legitimacy. My words may go unheeded, but the truth in them will remain, even if no one listens. Who will guard the guards themselves? Well, I mean, he's not wrong. They do what they got to do. They're allowed to lie. And, us true crimes, we've seen so many different interrogations and they flat out lie. They pretend to be your friends. It's the game. That's what they do. And most people now with all these videos out, like now most people are going to know, like, then a detective acts like they're your friends and like, trust me, it's all an act. I mean, it is, but they do what they got to do to try to get them to, give some information. It's the way that I mean, sometimes they cross lines, I know, but I don't feel like they crossed the line from what I seen of it. Yeah, they were tough with them, but like, that's just how they do. It's called an interrogation. See anything that was like, breaking any laws or anything, but I mean, what do I know, I guess. Okay, so I'm not going to read all this. I just want to read some of this and then I don't remember which ones I want to read right now. Hold on one second. This is hold on. Yeah, here's like what I was talking about, but I'm going to actually probably in my third or fourth upload, I'm going to release these actual interviews, these audio interviews. So look at this. On January 27th, Detective Albert Cloud approached me at the Bibb County Courthouse and stated that he had some new information on the Lauren Giddens murder case. Detective Cloud advised that on Thursday, January 26th, while at the Whiskey River nightclub, he was told by an employee, Martha, that another Whiskey River employee by the name of Jessica had a recording on her cell phone of a male stating that he was the one who killed Lauren and that he knew where her body parts were. Detective Cloud advised that he asked Martha if Jessica had contacted the police, and Martha stated that Jessica was too scared to tell anyone. Detective advised that he did not know Jessica's last name, but that she deals cards at the Whiskey River Comedy Club. Kenneth Chapman and I proceeded to the comedy club. Upon arrival, an employee contacted Jessica via telephone and were able to talk to her. She agreed to meet with us, and they agreed to meet at the nightclub. I explained to Jessica that we needed to talk to her about the murder of Lauren. I asked Jessica if she knew Lauren, and she replied no. I asked if she had a recorded phone conversation of someone confessing to the murder. She said no. I explained that I would be taking a recorded statement from her that night, and she agreed. Like I said, I'm going to release the recorded statement, but in the recorded statement, she advised that 2 weeks prior, she had gone out with her best friend, Michelle Rooney, at the Bottoms Up Club. Jessica stated that while at the club that night, she ran into an associate of hers. Jessica advised that this associate's name is Stacia Dykes. It's an Anastasia Dykes, but the Stacia for Stasia, whatever, however you say it, but it's Anastasia. Oh yeah, right here. I later discovered that her real name is Anastasia. Jessica stated that on the night, Miss Dykes whispered in her ear and said she knew that Stephen didn't do it because she had records of the phone calls where a man talked about Lauren's murder. I then asked Jessica if she knew the man's name, and she replied no. You know what? I didn't go through and actually hold on a second. There are some things that need redacted, like addresses and stuff, because I wasn't planning on reading this yet. But just that'll give you a little teaser into like some of the stuff that people are claiming that they did it, and then they interview this guy. Like, it's like, well, I don't know. Like, did they make it up? Like, why would somebody say that? Who's lying here? You know? Hold on one second. Okay, I want to read I'm gonna read that. Hold on, I have so much. I just want to. Okay, let's read. Where she was last seen, and then there's actually a little video of her at that bar of Lauren. Maybe I could play that. It's just tricky because you get so much stuff, and it's like, what order do you put them in? What should I show when? Okay, so on June 30th at 2011 at 9:30 a.m., Detective Shirley and I arrived on the scene of a missing person. The victim was a resident of the Barrister Hall Apartments. The victim was a resident of apartment 2, which is located on the Georgia Avenue side of the front building on the upper level. The victim is a white female, 27 years old. She had just graduated Mercer Law School back in May. She was last seen by several friends between late Friday night, June 24th, and the early morning hours of Saturday, June 25th. When I met with Detective Patterson, who had been on the scene for about an hour prior to my arrival, he advised that he had just located what he believed to be a human torso in the trash can outside front building of the complex on the left side of the building where the victim lived. Detective advised he needed me to go to the detective bureau where we could start taking statements from the victim's friends and witnesses on the scene. I took a statement from David Dorr, who's a student. Dorr lives in apartment 15. He advised he had known Lawrence since he became the resident manager, November 2010. He said they asked if he had been aware of Miss Giddens or any other tenant in the complex complaining about problems since he had been the manager. And he advised that he did not know of any problems, although his vehicle had been stolen from the complex earlier this year. When I asked Mr. Dorr about Miss Giddens day-to-day coming and going from the complex, he advised that he did not have very much contact with the other tenants, but he would see them from time to time out and about. I asked Mr. Dorr when the trash was collected, and he advised that the trash is collected on Thursdays in the mid-afternoon. He also advised that there are 2 trash cans for each side of the 2 buildings. Both buildings are designed alike. Each building has 2 lower level and 2 upper level apartments. Then for each opposing side, there are 2 trash cans, which gave them a total of 8 trash cans. I questioned Mr. Dorr about the routine for changing locks or rekeying lock. He advised that individual apartments, they rekey locks once they move out, and he advised that he had not had to deal with people moving out, so he did not know didn't know the procedure. He did advise that each tenant had a key to their individual apartments. Then he and Mrs. Boney Bush both had master keys that would fit all the apartments in the complex. At the end of Mr. Dorr's statement, he added that he had been contacted around 1 a.m. on Thursday morning, June 30th, by Joe Cairns. And Haley Strong about Lauren being missing. Mr. Dorr told them that he would go and check on her in the morning. When he went out 7:45 to walk his dog, he went to Lauren's door to check on her. When he tried to use the master key, it would not work. So he left to go get ready for work, and as he was leaving for work, he saw the police on the scene. While taking Mr. Dorr's statement, Sergeant Chapman called me with the telephone and asked about the laundry facility on the property. I asked Mr. Dorr if anyone would have an individual expectation of privacy to the laundry facility, or if it is a common R where all tenants have access. He advised that all tenants have access, at which time I asked if he could consent to us searching the laundry area of the complex. I also asked if he could get us a list of all the residents. The rental agreements for Miss Giddens and Mr. Stephen McDaniels, apartment 4. So she was apartment 2, he was 4. He advised he could, at which time he had them emailed to me. On June 30th, I took a statement from Miss Anna Pierce, one of Miss Giddens' friends that showed up at Miss Giddens' apartment on the night of June 29th and the early morning hours of June 30th to look for Miss Giddens. She advised that they had She recalled a conversation she had with Miss Gidding Thursday or Friday, June 23rd or 4th, where she advised that they had a Google chat conversation about Miss Gidding's sister's wedding the previous weekend. Miss Pierce recalled that they talked about the wedding. She advised that Miss Gidding told her it was nice, a little stressful, and stormy. She thought that Miss Gidding and her friend David Vandiver had been in an argument, which she added was not uncommon for the two. Miss Gidding and Vandiver had an on-again, off-again relationship. Miss Pierce advised that Miss Gidding was also dating two guys from Macon that she knew of, Joe Cairns and Sterling Waite. That's the guy. That's interesting because I haven't read this yet. Because when they interview Sterling, he doesn't say they were dating. He said they weren't. Sterling Waite is the guy that supposedly said that he killed her and that her head was heavy. That's the name that the girl said that they had a voice recording of him, which is weird. But that's weird that they're saying that she dated him because he didn't. He's acting like he didn't, which is weird if he's lying about it. Miss Pierce advised that she had read an email message Miss Gidding had written to David Saturday night about someone trying to break into her apartment on Thursday night. I asked Miss Pierce if she knew of anyone at the apartment complex that Miss Gidding was having trouble with. Miss Pierce advised that not that she had trouble with. I know that Edward kind of crept her out at times. She advised that she had met him last night and she thought he was nice, just a little dorky. I asked where does Edward live, and she advised that he lives in an apartment directly beside Miss Gidding on the right. Miss Pierce advised in her statement when she came down to Miss Gidding's apartment the night Miss Gidding was reported as missing was her first time to Miss Gidding's apartment. When she arrived, she advised that Ashley and the other law students were there and the door was opened. I asked if she knew how they got in. She advised that they had used the spare key Miss Gidding kept in a white ceramic container outside the porch. So wait, everybody knows where she keeps the spare key? Miss Pierce advised that this was her first time coming to Miss Gidding's apartment, but they had lived together while Miss Gidding was in Atlanta. I asked if it looked as if anyone else was living in the apartment with Miss Giddings. She replied she did not know. I asked her if there were any signs of forced entry. She said no. Her window was on lock, though, which was the window to the front of the apartment. She advised that the apartment did not appear to have been ransacked. It was just normal. Okay, I'm going to skip around here. It does say, wait. So Mr. Mueller is dating Ashley Morehouse, who is one of Miss Gidding's best friends. Mr. Mueller and Mr. Cairns have an apartment together on Walnut. Mr. Mueller, Mr. Morehouse, and Joe Cairns, Mike Armstrong, Marsha, they're naming a bunch. They all had been out Friday night. When they left the club, they all went back to Mr. Mueller and Mr. Cairns' apartment. Mr. Mueller advised that Miss Gidding slept in Mr. Cairns' room that night. The following morning, when Mr. Mueller and Miss Morehouse got up, Cairns' bedroom door was closed. So the first time they knew she was missing was June 29th at 7 p.m. Because they finished. Okay, so let's see. Says when Luke arrived, him and Steven went to check the laundry area because they found a hacksaw there. All right, so let me hold on, let me show you. They do a little video of Lauren's apartment. Let me share that, and then hold on. This note too. Yeah, that's right. It's really blurry. Hold on a second. Actually, I'm going to skip that because it's too blurry. Okay, here. I'm going to share some pictures and videos, but let me put on my audio or my headphones. So we'll go through some pictures and, the video of her apartment. Oh, here's a scene video. That's the apartment complex. Okay, one second. And then I want to find the one from her in her house or in her apartment. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I know I do want to do some pre-records. I don't know how much to show now. Here it is. That's her apartment. So that would be like where you went in. So it looks like it's basically just kind of a, wait, hold on, let me see here. And he would put a thing like a camera, and he would like on a stick thing, and he would like look in her window because it was, oh my God, it's just how creepy. He's so creepy. Can you imagine? It just freaks me out. Like, I know one day, just, I mean, just the fact, like, just the thought of living by yourself as a girl, having creepy, I guess it could happen to anybody, but so he said, remember, he said he was watching her sleep, jumped on her, she jumped on, like, they tumbled to the floor, and then half of her lower body was under the bed, so she couldn't, like, kick or get away. Yes, K court, yes. Oh. Yeah. So there's that note that says, look, I'm gonna see if I could pause it. I have a picture of it somewhere. It says, I hope you get hard. Oh, right here, look. Didn't focus. Okay, here we go. Look. What is this? I waited him quickly. He's so cute. Should have gonna go pick him up. I mean, I did figure this out like last year when I was looking at it, but hold on. I waited him quickly. I summed him quickly. What is it? He's so cute. Should have gone. I'm gonna pick him up. If you aren't out by 4 or 5, it'll be at my place. I'll keep you safe from the giants. Hope it went well. Oh, I could see it closer on here. Hold on. I mailed him, or wait, I walked him quickly. He's so cute. Should have gonna pick him up. If you aren't out by 4 or 5, he'll be at my place. I'll keep somebody for him, the Giants. Hope it went well. And then it says, I hope you get hard, which I think Steven added that. I think when he went into her apartment, he added that at the end, right? Because obviously it's not this person, which is who? Love Ash and something. Oh, Ashley Morehouse or whatever. Isn't that her best friend? Ash, and remember just saying that the two, that statement was just saying how her and her boyfriend, and then Lauren's boyfriend, they like they're have an apartment together, right? They live together. So it was probably both of them. I don't know, but yeah, creepy. Now look, you see the bottom? Right here. Hope you get raped hard. Right? That's what it freaking says. There's a better screenshot I have somewhere. It does right there. Look. Right? Does it not say that? Like, I think Steven added that. It wasn't from him. He took the note and then just put that on it. And that would have probably been after he killed her, unless if it was one of the previous times he broke in, wrote it, and it was what they say they found it on the fridge or something. So then maybe she didn't even see it, or was it after he killed her? He wrote it. I don't know. It's just horrible. Oh, look, now it's clear. Did you see how clear that got? Hold on. I just want to see what it says, who it's from. Oh, shoot. Why can't I pause it? This is making me mad. It won't let me, it did not let me pause it. I hate when that happens. I just have to keep doing it so it doesn't. Ash and get, you know. Oh, well. Wow, look at all that trash. But it's like, overflown, but it makes me think that that was him. Like that he's the one that had all that trash. Who knows? Oh, this is the bed. Wait a minute. Okay. That was the bedroom. The other one was just another bed with the couch pull out. Right? That was a different room, was it not? Hold on a second. Yeah. That's the bedroom. Okay. So she had the bed pulled out in the living room for some reason. Was somebody staying there? She was probably in the bedroom when it happened, I bet. Huh. Yeah, she's got 2 beds.
Victim's phone and laptop were found on this bed plugged into this wall socket here. They were approximately in this area where I'm filming now. This purse was checked earlier, and she has 2 wallets in here. Both of them had credit cards and cash in them. Small amount of cash, 10, a couple of ones in both purses, or both wallets. This is probably normally used to help lock the door. And we'll be pausing video for further investigation.
Okay, so Let me play. I could share some pictures. And then I want to play that video that night, the last night that she was seen, which when she went to that club, right? At that Whiskey's, whatever. The last night anybody's seen her. There's a video here, I'll show you. You could see her going out and in from the club or whatever. Sorry, guys. I wasn't sure what I was gonna. I thought it was gonna take me longer to go through just the basics. So this, I didn't know. I wasn't planning on like showing all this, but it did, and it took me quick. I might do the Idaho one though in a little bit. All right, hold on one second. I'm trying to. Whoa. I'll just show pictures and I'll just do that and upload because why am I not finding it right now? I got all the interviews, which, like I said, we'll just save those for pre-records. Where's that? How's everybody doing though on Sunday? Sunday. Beautiful Sunday. I don't know. Here, let me bring it up on my editor because I have it in my editor because I was gonna put it in a video, but for some reason I can't find it in my files. Yeah, they're right here. So I wonder why it's not showing up. Okay, so it is channel 7. Eight 4459. Ah, that's why. 1-844-5419. 1-844-5419-1459. I'm just gonna show it to you, my editor here. Okay, so it's right here. Might actually be better in my editor because I'm able to find the part where she goes in and out real quick. So there she is right there. So I don't know if she's leaving, then comes back. I'm not sure what this leads to. It looks like it's. So that's her walking up right there, Lauren. And this is the last people have seen her. Now, he says that he killed her June 26th, 4 a.m. So it would be the night of June 25th, you know? So, you know, and then midnight and then 4. So didn't they say that she went out this night and then the night after that, I think she just stayed home, didn't she? Now watch, you'll see her come back in then. Watch. Must just be the bathroom or something. There. Just, yeah, it's gotta be, but it just looks so bright. Like, looks like it's sunshine. It could be, but if this is a bar, would that be 10:30? Oh no, 10:30 p.m. So that's her. Some bright bathrooms. What do you guys think? Is that the bathroom in there? Looks like sunshine when they open it. But that's that. And then let's look at some pictures. Okay. So, I don't know. It's the This is probably the school. Here's her apartment door. Her apartment. Bathtub. Because remember, he dismembered her. So I always thought it was in his bathtub, but I guess it was in her bathtub, right? And you'll see the cut, like all these cut marks that you could see when they shine a light on it. So they like actually take the tub for evidence, you know? Look at that. So they only found her torso. They have not found anything else. So wasn't it Tracy, are you still here? Why do I remember them somebody saying they thought like like somehow like put it down the parts of her like down the drain somehow or something? I don't know. I remember hearing something like that, which might come out as I read all these documents because there's so many to go through. But I'll try to pick out the more interesting things to share with you guys for the documents. But here's some of the pictures where they take out the bathtub. I wonder if that is, oh, that's pretty just rust. And then this is where they shine like, oh wait, hold on, let's go right here. Hold on. Like you can't see it with the barely, but there's all these nicks in it because he dismembered her. So he had the hacksaw, he was cutting. So you could see. You'll be able to see it better when, hold on. Yeah, look, you can see it. So I'm going through some of these quick because there's just a lot of the same ones over and over. You know what I could do while I'm going through these pictures? I could play a couple of the audio interviews with Steven. Hold on a second. 1 second. I'll have those playing as I'm going through these pictures. Let me bring them up. I didn't even think about that. Okay. Hold on, let me get them. I actually haven't even listened to those ones. And then we could go through the pictures. Okay, so where's it at? Fletcher, Brian, McDaniels. So there's 2 of them. I think one might be, remember we saw that where they talk about an audio statement that he gave. So it's probably those. Give me 1 minute, guys. I'll play. I don't know which one, like in order. Like all this stuff, nothing's really like in order. I don't know. You know, which one right now, since I haven't listened to it, which one to play first. But that's why I like my pre-records with the interviews. I'm putting them in order. Wait, Steven. Oh, there's one with Leonard Daniel. Jeffrey. Fletcher and McDaniel? Huh. All right, let me do. All right, I'll do the one that's just labeled Stephen McDaniel first. 3 minutes. Whoa. Can you hear?
M11122-162. It's going to be a missing person.
Can you hear it?
The missing person is Lauren, Lauren. Giddings, Giddins.
Yes.
She lived at 1058 Georgia Avenue apartment.
Can you guys hear that? Are you able to hear? I know it's loud. Okay, let me try to turn it down. I'm sorry, it's so loud.
2. With me is her next. All right, it's June 30th, 2011. This is in reference to case number. Lived at 1050 Macon, Georgia, 31201. Got a phone number? Hey, the statement you're giving me today is regarding Lauren being missing. Does she live next door to you in apartment 2?
Yes.
How long have you lived next to Lauren?
Since I started law school back in, it'd be August of 08, I think.
Okay. And is that her car parked here in the parking lot today?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time you think you seen Lauren?
It was either last week or the week before that. I was coming back from bar prep. We had been moved over to the main campus because the law school was taken over by the NCDC. And I was driving back and I saw her going out to run, but
Okay.
I can't remember what the exact day was.
But it's been a while since you've seen her.
Yes.
Okay. Is she a avid runner? Does she usually run a couple times a week, or?
Yeah, she tends to go out running. I mean, a lot of the time when I've seen her outside, it's when she's running. I was going down to the courthouse for one of my classes this past semester and bumped into her on the way there.
Does she normally run by herself?
As far as I know, I think that she has a group that she does running with, but I don't know about that.
Okay. Now, I hear it's your apartment complex. Do you know the name of these apartments, or?
These are Barrister's Hall apartments.
All right. Is there any security cameras that you know of out here?
There are. There's 2 cameras, one at the very back and one in the middle. But as far as I know, there's not one on the front.
Do you know who owns this property?
Bonnie Bush and Marty Bush. They're a brother and sister. The property manager is David Dorer. He lives in apartment 15. And he's the one that, as far as I think, he's the one that has the cameras in his apartment as far as the monitors.
Okay. Is there anything that you could tell me today or add to your statement that could help me locate Lauren?
I can't think of anything. I mean, we looked around to see if there was anything last night when Garen and Ashley came over. We looked around to see if there was a note or if there was anything, but there was just nothing that we could find to try and figure out where she was. I mean,
Okay. Not in the statement.
Okay, I'm gonna play the other one. It says McDaniel and Fletcher, so I don't know. Hold on, let me see. I'm not sure who it is with. Let's see, guys. But there's 2 of them.
Picture yourself as somebody that you're not, what you would do if you was in their place. You ever do that? Yeah, if I was the damn president, this is what I'd do. You ever do that? Yes. Put yourself in my shoes, okay? I want you to think of this. Would you believe, if you was a police officer, not shooters, would you believe everything that you just said since you've been down here? Would you believe it all? Does it sound reasonable in your mind? And you know what you've said. So picture yourself on both sides. You know.
See, I'm wondering if here's my issue here. Is this just maybe an audio from the same video interview? Because if that's the case, I'd rather watch the video. So that's why I don't know if I'm going to play that yet. Because if it is, then let's watch the video instead. And if it is like after, then the video interview would have came first. So I want to make that in order. Sorry, a lot of these are the bathtub. Come on. How many of the ones do we need? Hold on. Let me get to some of the other ones. I don't know. Maybe okay, here's the question, you guys. You want me to end this and we do the Idaho one, or do you want me to go through some of the stuff that I was gonna make pre-records, which I would do pre-records anyway with this? Or just wait, do the pre-records, and then do the Idaho right now live. I don't know what to do. Because I don't know what you guys would prefer. Because the all the interview compilation is going to be 2.5 hours. So I mean, we wouldn't get through it all anyway. Maybe I'll do it as a premiere tomorrow. I kind of just wanted to introduce this case to you guys. And then, so when I do upload all the stuff, you guys know where it's coming from. I know I keep repeating myself, but here, let's look through this. Okay. I'll do a couple more pictures. Because I have there's a couple clips from this play that he's in. It just looks so weird. And then there's, like I said, all the other witness interviews of their friends and that weird Sterling thing where the guy supposedly said he did it. So yeah, dude, there's these videos that they sent me that, remember, I had actually played them a couple years ago. They're just like a couple seconds, and I can't figure out if it's actually Steven's videos of him trying to look at Lauren, or if it's when you'll see pictures of them put in the video, I think to test it or something, to see if it's their videos. I'll show you. Look. Well, first, let me show you the picture of them doing it. And then, hold on, let me find it real quick. And then I'll show you the videos. So it's like, what the heck? Oh, look, they're just measuring it right here. Hold on. I don't know if I'll be able to find the picture of them doing it, but let me show you the little videos right here. So look. Oh, shoot. Hold on. So there's a bunch of those, which they got his phone and stuff and found that he was spying on her and stuff. So these might be actually his videos, him trying to look in there when I think to probably see if she was home or not at certain times, to see if he could go in and snoop around. What do you guys think? I know it's loud here. I'll turn, oh, it is down. Look, it looks like it's night. None of them really show much. But it's just creepy. Sorry, it's loud though. There. It's got to be actually his, right? Stevens? Because why would they, if it was them, it would be better. It wouldn't be at night like that. And look how bad. I mean, I don't know. Watch. There. That's not a good one. Oh, wait. Hold on. Look. What the heck? I can't pause it right. Is she in there? I don't know, dude. You think it is then? Yes, yep. That's what he did. It's so creepy. Look. But all of them, it doesn't look like she's home. So this has got to be from when he did it, right? So he'd like see if she was home and then he'd go into her house and she's not and snoop. But just the fact that, how creepy. Like he'd hold it up and then hurry up and go take it down, see what he got. Ew, he's a creep. Oh, the 4chan. That's what I could go over. I could go over some of the 4chan messages. We won't be able to get through them all, but him like talking leading up to the murders, like him talking about just different things. I could read some of those and then I'll just save the interrogation. Well, wait, the interrogations would be fun to like have reactions to though. Shoot. If I do that as a live, I'll do it on a different one though. It'll just be that. Because that'll be good to be able to chat. At least I could either do a premiere where I could be in the chat, or I'll do a live where I like watch it with you guys. But I'll do that a different day. Because yeah, there's so much to like. I mean, I hate to like laugh about it, but it's like one of those things like Taylor. It's like I don't even know if it would be funny. It's funny in a different way, but it's almost just more creepy. It's like creepy. Ugh. But just like how I don't even know. I don't even know what to feel. It's just, ugh. Yeah, it doesn't look like she's home in any of these or like that he catches her. But it makes me wonder maybe the ones, if she was home, that they didn't make them public for public. I don't know. But just think about this. If this is him, like, this is actually him doing it, like what he's doing right now. Like with a stick and a video camera peeping on her. Ew. So gross. I can't. Okay. Wait, what did that one show? The street? Hold on. Wow. Look, the stairs right here. You can see. I can't with him. It's like, I mean, I swear this looks like a head right there. I keep thinking it's her head, but I don't think it is. Right? That's why I keep trying to look. Is that her right there? Or no? No, that's like a bag or something. That's something on the. Okay, it's not. Dude, like, didn't neighbors see him out? Like, somebody had to look out the window, if not, like, walk past or something to see him with a stick and a camera. Like, how didn't somebody see him? You know what I'm saying? I don't get how nobody's seen him. These are apartments. It's so weird. Yeah, now I wish I would have just did the interrogation with you guys today, but I felt like I needed to introduce the case, but I could have just read that paragraph and then did it. I just hope people come back when I do that, since this one's kind of all over the place. Okay, so then let me go to his 4chan messages. Hold on one second. Don't leave. And then like some of the documents, I mean, there's still like interesting things on these that I actually wanted to go over with you guys too. Shoot. There is a lot. Like I said, then the interviews, which I will. Okay. Here's a bunch of written statements. Oh, here's something might be interesting real quick. And then I'll get to the other stuff here. So this is it says when it's 6/30/2011, date and time requested. Sandy ADA was on the scene, advised me to enter and process apartment 1. They were photographing this apartment. Remember, apartment 1 was his, right? To include previously seen question spatter in the bathroom. A sample of this spatter was collected. A search warrant was obtained for apartment. Oh no, apartment 4 was McDaniel's. Sorry, that was apartment 4. Sergeant Newberry was in charge of the search. Luminol testing was done on apartment 4. Limited success was achieved. Stevens geoprism was towed from the parking lot. I went to Macon Police Department to serve a search warrant on Stephen McDaniels for the collection of his DNA, hair samples, and fingernail scrapings. I made contact with him in Detective Patterson's office. He was advised of the search warrant. I then collected DNA using a buccal swab collection kit. I pulled several hairs from his different locations on his head. I took scrapings from under his fingernails. I also documented scratches on his stomach and red marks and bruises on his back. I went back to apartment 4 and continued searching, and I collected a question stain from under a throw rug in the living room. There was also a stain on the floor around a red cooler in the living room. All negative results for blood. All 3 apartments, 1, 2, and 4 were then sealed, do not enter signed. Oh, that's right. Okay, so it says I was outside at the police mobile command post when I noticed Stephen McDaniel sitting on a cooler. Someone was trying to talk to him, and he was not verbally responsive in any way. He was staring straight ahead with a blank stare on his face. We tried to get his attention with no success. I shook his shoulder with no response. I felt his skin on his arm, and it was warm but not hot to the touch. He was still sweating along the hairline on his forehead. I then did a sternal rub. He came around and asked what had happened. I told him he had been in a catatonic state and wasn't responding to anyone. He was then taken into a mobile command post to sit in the air condition and drink some water. An ambulance was called to the scene. Upon its arrival, he declined to be seen by EMS. Remember his perception of what happened? We just read what he said happened, and this is what they're saying that happened. I think it's more like this than what he said happened. Especially if he was out of it, he wouldn't remember what he remember. He didn't know what was going on. So here, right here, it says So the other trash can, oh wait, hold on. Detective Chapman and McDonald were allowed by Stephen McDaniel to enter his apartment with him. I was allowed by him to process his apartment for signs of evidence. There were not any overt signs of foul play seen in the apartment at this time. Canine handler and her canine were allowed to come into the apartment and do a search. The canine alerted on the master bedroom and the bathroom. I then did luminol testing on the bathroom with limited results, and I sprayed the entire hallway, all to the front door, with negative results. The other trash can had neither a strong foul odor or high level of fly activity. Myself and Sergeant Newberry then opened the trash cans for further investigation. I opened the trash can closest to the road. This trash can had a dark colored trash bag with a small amount of trash and a small pink clear trash bag with a small amount of trash. I then opened the trash can farthest from the road. This is the trash can with the foul odor and high amount of fly activity. This trash can had 2 dark bags with something inside. One was a dark colored trash bag with a small amount of trash. The other was a large bundle covered in a dark colored trash bags. This bundle had a foul odor and was where the flies were concentrating their efforts. With my training and experience, I believe this odor to be a human origin. I then felt the exterior of the bundle and felt what appeared to be some type of meaty flesh. Sergeant Newberry then used his pocket knife and carefully cut open a small hole into the top of the package closest to us. I immediately observed what I believed to be human flesh. I then closed the trash can lid and I advised detectives and supervisors on the scene what we found. They established a perimeter, photographs of the trash can, and took photographs. Additional photographs of the area of the trash cans were done. Along with videoing of the scene, we then laid the trash can with the victim down on its side and slid the bundle out onto the open lid of the trash can for further inspection. I then cut open the bag enough to see what its interior contents were. I observed a white female torso. This torso had a laceration to the mid-sternal area. The head, legs, and arms had been removed from the torso and were not found in this trash can. The torso was wrapped in several trash bags. The bags were dark colored with bright blue pull strings at the closing end of the bag. It was noticed that all the other trash bags in the 2 trash cans were not of this type. I then removed the trash bag that was found in the same trash can. It was examined and it was found to contain household trash and no other body parts. The other trash bag and the other trash can was examined and found to have only household garbage as well. Wow. Gosh. Okay, let's see. He had a bunch of guns and knives too in his apartment. Okay, let me find those messages and we'll read those, and then you guys want to be night owls with me and do like a late night Idaho case or Idaho live after this? I got the thumbnail already. I'm just making sure because I went through these documents and I know what's going to happen. I'm going to be like, shoot, I wanted to read this. I highlighted a few things. I'm trying to find like the ones that I really wanted to read. Yeah, so here's that video that we watched. Remember I said, let's see, it says I downloaded the videos June 24th, 2011 to June 25th. While watching the video, I saw a female that looked similar to Lauren Giddens on channel 457. On channel 4 and 5, the blonde hair female wearing a black dress could be seen walking past the bar and pool table toward the restroom. And the female was seen carrying a red cup, a small clutch style purse. She proceeded back to the bar. Yep. Um, oh, here's some. Here, let me read this real quick too. Okay, so it says on Tuesday, March 27th, 2012. So that would be, months after, because the murder was July. Like, almost 8, 9 months after. At 4 p.m., Captain Schlagadder requested me to go to Macon Police Internal Affairs on Wednesday, March 28th. I was advised to meet with Lieutenant Daniels. The information I received was that a man was coming in to file a complaint on an officer, and he also had additional information on this case. The background information I received is the complainant was locked up and had contact with Stephen McDaniel. On Wednesday, March 28th, I reported to meet with the complainant. The complainant identified himself as Leonard Scott Daniel. He reported that he was in the Bibb County Jail. Oh, I have the audio email from him. He's saying that Mr. McDaniel reported that he where the body was. But I'm going to actually play that audio. I forgot. I actually have that. But they never found him. So he's saying that it was in this graveyard. He like basically told him that where the body was, the rest of the body. But I mean, they never found her, the rest of her. So, right? Okay. Chloroform. Wait, what is this? Oh, wait, this is the one I really wanted to read. Shoot, here. This, and then I keep saying that I'll read the message, but I knew there's a couple things that I wanted to make sure I read. Okay. So this was one of them. On July 1st, 2011, approximately 1800 hours, I went with Sergeant Scott Chapman to, that's the address of the apartments, right? The murder, to assist him while he walked through apartment complex. I met with Bonnie Bush, the apartment manager. When we arrived, during the walk, oh wait, I read a part of this. Hold on a second. Hold on. No, okay, I only read the part before that. Okay. This is when they go, they found a hair in the refrigerator. I did see a long dark hair stuck to the right side of the refrigerator. Chapman notified the crime lab of the discovery of the hair. The most recent tenant of apartment 1 arrived on scene and was interviewed by Sergeant Chapman. Sergeant Chapman and I continued to walk through the rest of the apartment. We walked through all vacant apartments and other areas that could be accessed by a master key. They checked for any signs indicating that apartments could have been used in commission of this crime. We also stood by as property manager accessed all apartments that currently had tenants. When accessing the occupied apartments, Sergeant Chapman and I stood at the door as Bonnie Bush walked through the apartment looking for anything suspicious and focusing on the bathroom and kitchen areas of the apartments, to include opening the refrigerators. While checking the laundry room, Sergeant Chapman noticed a locked door in the rear. Bonnie stated that this was a tool room and could be accessed by the master key. Bonnie unlocked the door. Upon entering the tool room, Sergeant and I noticed numerous tools hanging on the wall. One of the tools was a hacksaw. Sergeant Chapman made a note of the saw in his log. The door to the tool room was shut and locked. The names of people interviewed, apartment numbers of apartments checked, and the exact times involving this walk through are noted in Sergeant Chapman's reports. On August 18th, Sergeant Chapman and myself had a discussion about making contact with Thad Money in hopes of getting more names of people that knew Stephen during his undergrad years. Detectives were hoping to learn more subjects that may have conversations with Stephen in the past about how he would commit the perfect murder. On the morning of August 19th, 2011, I made phone contact with Thad Money. Some redaction, and it said Thad gave me the names of William Ingram, redacted, Clifford Paul. They're probably given the phone numbers, I'm sure, and Phil Forrester. Around 10, so it'd be 10 a.m., I was able to make contact with William Ingram. William resides in Barnesville. I asked him if he minded answering a few questions while being digitally recorded, and he said, okay. I started off by asking him had he knew Thad and Stephen. William stated that he met Thad through a class and that they rushed for the same fraternity. William said that Thad roomed with Stephen, and that was how they met. This happened around 2008 based on what William remembered. William said that Stephen used to ask him what he would do during a zombie invasion. And on another time, Stephen asked William how he would commit the perfect murder. William said that he remembered the smirk on Stephen's face and the tone of his voice when he asked about doing the perfect murder. Stephen would always correct your answer and come back with his, which was always the same plan. He would knock a person out and drag them into the bathroom area due to its being sanitary and made of tiles and linoleum for easy cleanup. Stephen would then say that he would cut the body up in the tub into little pieces and then distribute the body over a large area so it would never be found. Stephen told William that you would place the small body pieces into black plastic bags and mix them into the laundry and sneak them out. You would want to distribute the small pieces all over so the complete body would never be found. William remembers Stephen saying that the murder would look like a lover's feud and all the evidence would make this murder a circumstantial evidence case. Stephen's plan was always based on a female victim. William always thought that Stephen was just full of shit and always spoke of his perfect murder with intense passion and a lot of thought, but on the day that he first saw the news release of a Mercer murder and learned Stephen was the suspect, all the pieces came together. William remembered that Stephen played a game called HUD, which was a text-based role-playing, and that Stephen would always say that there was only two ways to become famous, be a movie star or a murderer. William thought that Stephen opened up to him a little more about his plan, was that they both watched the show Dexter. In the movie Braveheart. William told me that he had just gotten out of seminary school and was worried about Stephen's soul. William told Stephen he could be a good guy. So how could he think about murdering somebody? Stephen's response would be that all the serial killers had full control over the situation and that every person's life, the touched has been changed. The situation that every person's life that touched has been changed and they have no control over the outcome. And now they were famous. William said that the idea of having total power over somebody is what fueled Stephen's actions on everything he did. When I asked William how Stephen would knock out a person, William remembers having that conversation with Thad, and the chemical chloroform was brought up. William said that hearing Stephen talk about it, he just envisioned Stephen using a needle to inject people with something that would knock them out. Thad had told William that he suspected that Stephen was breaking into his room. Wow. That while he was gone, and once that Thad overslept and missed class, and Stephen picked open his door lock in about 7 seconds, thinking he was in class. William told me that on occasions he would spend the night at their apartment, and that Stephen would have him so freaked out that he would sleep with a pocket knife in his hand due to being nervous about Stephen sneaking in on him. William again stated that Stephen was all about power and not the dominance issue. Next, I received a phone call from Clifford Pauly, who was returning my voicemail to call my voicemail message to call. I recorded our conversation. Clifford is living back in Macon now, and I remembered Stephen from his undergrad years from 2004 and 5. He could only remember Stephen asking him about how he would repel a zombie attack. Clifford also remembered that Stephen would wear chainmail shirts under his clothing to class, and the reasoning would be in case a zombie attacked him or tried to bite him. Next, I received a return call from Philip, who was attending UAH College in Alabama. Phil remembers Stephen from knowing Thad and William. Phil said that it was around the end of 2007 or spring of 2008 because he became Thad's roommate once Stephen graduated and moved out of Thad's dorm room. Phil stated that he remembers mostly Stephen asking him about the zombie situation and Stephen wearing chainmail shirts to class. Phil states that he always just laughed at him and ignored what he was saying. Phil said that he didn't hang with Stephen, that he didn't remember have a perfect murder conversation, and that he didn't remember have a perfect murder conversation with Stephen. Phil reminded me that Stephen was closer to Thad and William just because of the roommate thing. Stephen didn't have a large group of friends, and once he graduated and moved into a separate apartment, they basically never saw him that much, other than in passing. Wow. So, wow. Okay. Ugh. That's just creepy. I'm gonna have nightmares here, like people like that. It scares me. All right. I'll just read a few of those 4chan messages, and then, like I said, I think I'm gonna do the Idaho thing. But I am gonna, like I said, do a bunch of pre-records for this. So make sure you look. Hold on. Oh, there's the 4chan. Because they have the links to, like, the way that they sent the files are all these web links. So it's like I'm going through each web link, finding his name, because I through the documents you learn what his name is in it. And then I was trying to, like, go down and find each time he said something, and then I got better at it, because then I would see, like, I would try to find the person he's responding to, and I would have to actually, I thought I had to actually read it and understand, like, oh, who is he responding? But then I learned how when you at somebody and stuff. So I kind of learned how, as I was going through them, how the system worked a little bit. So I got better at it. But this is how kind of it looks like. He is Soul. That's his name. Oh, yeah, look, that's him. Looks like a nice guy. That's like him younger. Okay. Hold on. I want to see if I did these backwards or which way. Let me just double check here. Yeah, I guess it does go the right way. Okay. So I'll just read a few, and then we'll read. Maybe I'll read a few after all the Stephen videos, and then try to get through them all. So Soul. Okay, so Soul says 1 Second by William Forrester. Every true operator needs to read this book. It's written from the perspective of a former U.S. Army colonel. So this is from 9/8/24. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Oh, that's right. These dates are weird. It goes, I forgot about that. It's actually 8/24/09, the way they do it. So this is actually August 24th of 09. I'm going to skip some. Some of these are boring. He's like, talks about, like, oh, you got to read the events of the next year. We get hit with the EMP, and most of the plans put forward so far fail miserably. It's just about a book. And then, says in the book, most of the current shielding was not sufficient as the bomb was configured to maximize the EMP yield. Heck, the EMP knocks Air Force One out of the air, even though it's supposed to be hardened. Just about anything. Yeah, I'm going to skip. Some of them are just like boring stuff. He says, I believe the late, great Frank Castle had a response. R.I.P. Frank, we'll miss you until Marvel brings you back. As though some abomination. And somebody, he's responding to this person, says, just thinking it made me cringe because I saw a BBC report in the 90s where it showed how Packy and Albelman were brainwashing teenagers in London with drugs to use as sex slaves. I know shit like this happens. And then Stephen responds and says, did someone mention Albanians? I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. Oh, this is from that movie. He's quoting the movie. What's it called? Great movie, though. But I do have a particular set of skills I've acquired, very long career, skills that make me a nightmare for people, blah, blah, blah. From, what's that movie called? You let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you and I will kill you. Such a great line. Okay. And then he says, you don't remember me. We spoke on the phone 2 days ago. I told you I would find you. Yeah. Okay. He just quoting that movie. Why can't I think of the name? Taken. Yes. All right. Let me get to some like good stuff here. Well, the man has a gun, so Obama must hate this movie, but he's breaking the law, so Obama must love this movie. But John Q is a responsible father, so Obama must hate this movie. But he says that the doctors are evil and corrupt, so Obama must love this movie. My head hurts. Denzel Washington is both a great actor and gun rights supporter. So they're talking about a different movie now. This is from, right. And somebody says, stop calling him Obama. Hold on. And then he says, make me, because I guess somebody says, stop calling him Obama. And then somebody says, I don't get it. Is this some obtuse reference to 5 seconds from the best TV show of all time that only 3 people, yourself included, get? And then Steven responds and says, The Simpsons, the character is a hobo who was the original creator of Itchy and Scratchy. He had this idea stolen from him, was left destitute. He had a very bad habit of making deals with people. Krusty and Grandpa Simpson, for example, to do work for them in exchange for food and to then running. I don't know. This is boring me right now. Some of it is interesting. There is some stuff more like closer to the murders. It's like, whoa, weird. Like stuff where he says he just like rocks and stuff. I'll put that in a pre-record if I don't find it right now. Like, it's just, there's this weird one where, wait, that's not even him. So, oh, wait. It says, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. He says, results. Fatties buy double the amount of healthy foods, remain just as fat. Smokers start growing their own tobacco and smoke more, though without chemical additives. People ignore the government and keep selling unlicensed. The few people that do buy licenses are driving out of businesses by intimidation from other dealers. People ignore the government and buy fake license to use marijuana, resulting in a booming forgery market. Many people die before government can react to upgrade. I don't know, he's just going on. Ban welfare, ban disabled support. Tax money goes straight into the government's pocket and should be spent on improving schools. Yes, because the problem has always been not enough money. It's not that the bad teachers, corrupt teachers, lack of, I don't know, he's just going on about all kinds of stuff. Gasoline prices, ecological fixes, pretends to be like the smartest person, you know, one of those people. I'm going to try to find a couple good ones though before I leave. Hold on. He's a strong advocate for Second Amendment. So he's responding to, I don't know, and his loins gave us Angelina Jolie. So shut your mouth. Oh, because they're talking about John Voight right here. President Obama, you will be the first president that lied to Jewish people and American people as well. I'm not going to read that. Somebody else wrote that. And then he says about him giving him Angelina, because it says John Voight. Oh my God, this is probably not making any sense. Sorry. Hold on. I'm going to find a couple good ones, like I said. Now he's okay. This is what he says. Why socialism fails. This is Steven. An economics professor at Texas Tech said he had never failed a single student before, but had once failed an entire class. This class insisted that socialism worked and that most would be poor and one would be rich. A great equalizer. The professor then said, okay, We have an experiment in this class on socialism. All grades would be averaged and everyone would receive the same grade, so no one would fail and no one would receive an A. After the first test, the grades were given out and everyone got a B. The students who studied hard were upset and the students who studied little were happy. But as the second test rolled around, the students who studied little had studied even less, and the ones who studied hard decided they wanted a free ride, so they studied little. The second test average was a D. No one was happy. When the third test rolled around, the average was an F. The scores never increased as bickering, blame, name calling all resulted in hard feelings, and no one would study for anyone else. All failed to their great surprise, and the professor told them that socialism would also ultimately fail because the harder to succeed, the greater the reward. But when a government takes all the reward away, no one will try to succeed. It's actually true. I get it. I mean, it's makes sense what he said, but I mean, okay. Tom Baker is the doctor. He had such a long time to develop his portrayal. So it's some show. I don't even know. Who's he responding to? I don't know. Some series, Jedi, or wait. Yeah, I don't even care. Wait. Trying to find that one. Oh, look, he's trying to buy, do you have price ranges for ACU jacket and elbow and knee pads? Because somebody's saying they have some for sale. How about a FTF and you knock off shipping costs? I'm in Macon. Because the person says for jacket, knee, and elbow pads, he'll even throw you in some patches just to get rid of them. So he's trying to buy. And he says, okay, well, if we FTF, let's say $50 then. And Steven says, sounds good. What's your email? He gives him his email. And he says, email sent. And it says, email's taking a long time to get here. If you have an IM, you can shoot me a message. And then Steven says, easier coordination. Should I come to you or you come to me? I'd prefer the latter, but I can drive if need be. Either way to preserve the security of personal information. Whoever is being driven to can select a public location at which to make the swap, along with time, and the other can meet at the location. What's your preference? Oh my God. Give me an email so I can get your address from you. I'll send you whatever patches I don't hold on to. I'm trying to find. Glad you found a buyer. Did you get what you wanted for it? Girl Next Door is one of the few films I've seen in the last decade that genuinely gave me WTF moments. Hostel didn't. The Hitcher didn't either version. Last House on the Left didn't. Girl Next Door did. Kids can be mean, yeah, but what was this? The Young Sociopaths Club. The way Ruth acted, there was no way she could have avoided prison long enough to get to her age. Every 5 minutes, she's either beating someone, threatening to kill them, or is otherwise mutilating them. What is the girl? I'm trying to think if I've seen this. At least the movie gave her a fitting end, whereas the real monster who did it got out of prison alive and died when she OD'd. Grotesque didn't make me cringe. It was just driving nails through the man's testicles, cutting off a woman's nipples with a pair of scissors, severing fingers and making a necklace out of them. None of that does anything for me. It's a fairly good imagery, but it failed to resonate with me. Yes, I can watch a man disemboweling himself by crawling across a room while his intestines are clamped to a hook and not even feel the slightest disgust. I am that desensitized to gore and torture. This is Steven saying this on July 1st, 2010. So this was a year before the murder. He was saying this. He says, Cannibal Holocaust wasn't anything especially cringeworthy either. It makes me laugh that the dictator was arrested on suspicion of killing the actors when the effects aren't that good. Antichrist just seemed boring. Shaking camera, wavy background, and droning noise don't make a scary atmosphere. when you do it for the whole movie. The husband should have realized just how messed up she was and should have taken her back, thrown her in an asylum, and pumped her full of happy pills because she was so utterly insane. The part with him trying to kill the crow was just funny. It had been buried alive for who knows how long, and after being unearthed, the guy beats it fiercely, and it does nothing to shut the bird up in the slightest. He should have stayed in the barn and used the hammer to either break the grindstone, doubtful, or kill the crazy woman, better choice, and then find some way of removing the huge weight that has been bored through his leg. As soon as she said someone would have to die, he should have grabbed her, got his arm around her neck, and choked the life out of her. She stabs him with scissors, and what does he do? He throws away the potential weapon, leaving himself defenseless. It isn't a WTF movie, it's just a stupid movie about a really crazy woman and her slow on the uptake husband. A WTF film is one which manages to convey a very clear, lucid plot to its audience while not resorting to cheap jump scares and portraying events so inhuman and gruesome that they go beyond what the mind can imagine another human being doing to another. A woman cheerily singing as she grinds up a newborn child while its mother is tied to a chair, forced to watch as the remains are cooked into a meal. That's a WTF moment. Ah. What? A surgeon lecturing a patient about the history of medicine and the function of a human body as he removes the patient's internal organs without anesthesia and hooks them up to machines to keep them alive until he's hollowed out. That's a WTF moment. Crazy stuff that's unexplained and unexplainable. That comes out of nowhere and makes no real sense in connection with the rest of the story does not constitute a WTF. This guy, wow. He has no how has no one noticed or commented on the 10-year-old threatening Naha with a police baton? I don't know. Who else thinks the latest episode shows how pathetic most of the survivors are? Oh yeah, he talks about Survivor show a lot. So I'm not gonna. He's just talking about the show. I'm not gonna read that. I don't think, unless if it has some. Let me see. Eh. Why did Mike just kill at least one of the two raiders? Is he talking about just always killing? Okay. Despite how Discovery is portraying it, I'd rather have a global epidemic that wipes out most of humanity than some other disaster scenarios that exist. They're showing it as if suddenly the remains of society immediately break down and form into bigger biker gangs. It's not all realistic. In a situation with a global epidemic where roughly 80% of humanity dies off and remaining 20% either survive and recover or immune to places where humans are in a very low concentrations or suffer the worst, while they might not have as much demand for resources. They also lack the numbers necessary to be self-sufficient, blah, blah, blah. Okay. One more basic level human needs food, water, shelter. While most people have enough food for maybe a week in their homes, the death of 80% of the population leaves huge amounts of food to be scavenged. The city of 100,000 with food enough for 2 weeks for each person had 10% survival rate. There would be enough food for 20 weeks for the remaining population, all of which could be stretched through rationing. In the meantime, working vehicles would be in abundant supply and surrounding communities with agriculture would be available as sustainable food sources with the proper training and supplies. Even something as simple as vegetable garden in someone's yard would be an important resource for food once canned goods ran out. Water is, in the most parts of the U.S., either drawn from rivers or pumped from groundwater. The groundwater would have to be pumped to be used, which means that electricity would be far more of a necessity in arid country. I don't know why. Shelter would be fairly easy element with small population. The wise thing to do is position people close to their job site. Those looting abandoned homes would be held as thieves. Okay, let's see what else he has to say. That's a big one. I'm not going to read it all. I think he's just talking about some show. He's got to be naming all these people, maybe Survivor. I don't know. Yeah. In a situation where society has effectively collapsed, I have to try to survive with whatever hodgepodge group I have thrown in with me. The first step is to find shelter. Yeah, I'm going to like Survivor stuff. Gosh, this is all Survivor type stuff. Okay, let's see what this says. So he's responding. Wait. He says, so people are asking, like, somebody says, I would never kill another human before eating him. Not even a stranger, even if that person would slow me down or decease, my chances of survival, I would just leave him. Some people on this board would say, yeah, dude, in an HTF situation, I would be killing people. But it's easy to say that in the comfort at your home. But the situation like that, Andy's plane crash, I would do it. So yeah, somebody says, I've considered a SHTF scenario to add aggressors. Okay, so this is what Steven says. I was asked a similar question in college several years ago. The professor set it up like this. You were on a plane flying over the Andes Mountains and you crashed. The people on board survived. You used up all the food you had, but no one has come to help you. And there's snow everywhere, preventing you from walking out. Would you be willing to kill another? You were on a plane flying over the Andes Mountains. Oh, wait. Yeah, sorry. Would you be willing to kill another person in order to keep the rest of the group alive by eating the corpse? Only one person said that in the situation, she'd offer herself as a willing sacrifice. All the other students said that they couldn't bring themselves to harm another human to stay alive, but they'd eat another person if they didn't have to kill them. I said I'd take the person out in the snow and kill them without hesitation or remorse. Understandably, the subject of discussion changed fairly quickly after that. Yeah, he has maybe he is like a psychopath. Because, I mean, that's the second time in just these few messages that shows that he has no remorse on stuff, like over people. So he's saying he could do it. He would just do it. No hesitation, no remorse. When you've got a choice between one person dies and everyone else lives and everyone dies, you pick the option with the greatest net survival rate. Yeah, but the fact you're saying no remorse, though, it doesn't matter if you're stuck in a snowstorm, trapped on an island, or stranded in a desert. You do what you must to survive. People can whine about how it's horrible to even consider killing someone, yet alone eating them. But such people do not know what the true limits of humanity are. When humans are pushed to the fringes, they can do almost anything. Humans driven to madness by hunger will do whatever they must to get food. I'd rather not wake up to find someone gnawing on my leg in the night because they've snapped. If we have to resort to cannibalism, then we'll do it in an orderly fashion. It can be done in those circumstances. Yeah, buddy, but you will kill people when you're not starving. Then he says, it seems the last few posts seem to have forgotten that the scenario is eat human or starve. You're bickering about the buildup of fat-soluble toxins and such, when you should only be asking yourself, would I eat another person in order to keep alive because no other source of food existed? If you're too worried about getting a disease, then don't eat and starve to death. If you aren't that worried, then eat the dead body. Just don't eat the brains. Don't want to get Creutzfeldt Jakob disease. Some other form of spongiform, whatever, and the prions are much higher concentration in the brain than any other part of the body. This guy's sick. People are talking to him, they have no idea. And then somebody says, dihydrogen oxide. I see you've heard of dihydrogen oxide as well. Soon enough, we'll get it banned. Steven says, hey, that dihydrogen monoxide is some dangerous stuff. Don't you know how many people die as a result of it every year? On top of that, the same dihydrogen monoxide found in poisonous chemicals, industrial waste, and powerful pesticide is in the very food we eat. Plus, if you get too much in your system, it will kill you. I always love that joke. Tell someone how this horrible compound is everywhere trying to kill us. Get them to support banning it, and then tell them they just said they want to ban water. Always good for a laugh. No, I don't. What the heck? So now they're talking about zombies. Speaking of power generation, is it possible to build a power generator powered off of steam? Have fun with the Tesla turbine. At least there's no idiot suggesting to put hydrofluoric acid into a trench. And this is what Steven says. Trenches are a bad idea. A few hundred bodies and the trench will be bridged. A few thousand, it will be filled on all sides. If you're up against zombies, you'll run out of trench before the zombies run out. If you're up against a armed enemy, all they need to do is place a few changes to knock the wall of the trench out and burn the punjies. Substitute the spikes for metal and a thermite dispersal bomb. It will likely destroy the spikes. The weapons lockers will be, I don't know. Okay. Imagine having an almost orgasmic tingle run up and down your spine with every bite of this rich, sublime, heavenly ambrosia. It's that good. And he's responding to somebody saying, dry rub pit barbecue spare ribs, only food in the world that can make me drool. And then somebody says, it's been a while since I've had steak. The last one I had was at a really nice restaurant. I also got a platter of garlic roasted asparagus, blah, blah. So that's what he said to that response. You can get GameStop refurbished PS2 about $40. The only problem would be finding PS memory card. Okay. So they're talking about guns now. I'm pretty sure I have more guns than slavers. He says, you may have more guns, but I think they've got more trigger fingers. Yeah, I think they're talking about like games now. Touche. The key for any of us surviving would be tactical planning. Not how many guns we had, though. One man with a knife can kill dozens of men with rifles if he can always get the drop on them and keep them from alerting others. Still, guns do help. Pedo, who took photos of himself molesting kids, used Photoshop to disguise himself by using the swirl tool on his face. A guy at Interpol used Photoshop to reverse the swirl to image, and the Thailand police went out and arrested him. He's probably being anally hard even as we write and not liking it. Yeah, saying somebody that has CP on his computer, they said. I'm trying to find that one that's really disturbing that he writes that I wanted to read, but if not, I'll put it on a pre-record. I'm probably boring you guys. He writes, make me. I have zero support for his policy, so I will continue to show how much I support Marxist every time I write his name. Also, I didn't pick that up from Free Republic. I picked it up because another Chan had a word filter installed that would turn his name into racially derogatory words. I originally started using it to avoid the filter, and then I instilled meaning into it beyond simply avoiding the filter. And then he responds to somebody else. He says, dude, seriously, have you never watched Star Wars? They're called stormtroopers. He wasn't doing a Godwin. He was doing a Lucas. If he had brown shirts or Gestapo or something to that effect, then you might be able to say he was making a direct comparison to the Nazis in order to try to immediately end the discussion. He's one of those people that he thinks he's smarter than everybody, though. Because when I was reading through these screenshots, and it's like, God, he thinks he's just like correcting everybody. Like he's just smarter than everybody. He knows everything. Everybody else is just stupid. That's what he reminded me of, one of those type of people. If that's true, then as much as I really hate to, I must invoke Godwin's law. That essentially how Hitler went from elected representative to iron-fisted dictator. Well, it's actually how countless different totalitarian regimes have taken over previously free countries, but that's besides the point. If Obama starts building giant coliseums and monuments with all sorts of flags and pagan symbols, I'm moving. So this is from July 8th, 09. I guess it went back for some reason. But the ones, look, okay, you're officially a total dumbass. You seem to have forgotten a line of text that has bearing on this discussion. I mean, he's just a jerk. All right, I won't bore you anymore, but we'll continue reading it. Because there are some interesting things to kind of see, like, you know, what was in his head, but I'll just do a little at a time because I know it could be a little much. All right, though. But hopefully you will, since I know this live is kind of all over the place, but hopefully you do watch the pre-records because there are some good stuff in here. The freaking interrogations, those are really good. So I think I'll do it as a premiere maybe tomorrow or something. Then we could at least still chat about it. And then let me do an Idaho. I'm gonna end this. I already got the thumbnail for the Idaho. You guys want to, or you guys want to stay up and hang out? What I did is I collected all, like, you know, since the gag's being lifted, there's all these interviews now, the police chief, families, plus I wanted to give my thoughts on that day in Idaho or whatever it's called. Excellent. I thought it was such a good documentary or whatever you call. Oh, you liked it? Okay. Shoo. I thought I was boring you maybe. I don't know. Okay, so good. I will continue reading those at the end of each when I do the McDaniels ones, and because I want to go through all of them. I'll skip some because some are like about. I'll skip ones about like TV, movies, and shows. Some of the ones that are real long where he just gives it like a synopsis. I'll skip some of those, but okay, because there are, like I said, there are some interesting ones. But where did I left off at then? I was trying to get a number of it, but I couldn't find a number of the page number I could say we left off, but hopefully I'll be able to figure it out because there's so many of them. Wait, so would you have rather just me continued reading more, or do you want me to do the Idaho thing? Why am I always so paranoid that I'm like, oh, they're probably bored, so they probably want me to do the other one, or should I have kept at it? I don't know. I am kind of regretting. I kind of wish I would have done the interview today, but I don't know. I don't know. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, you know what? I'll do them. I'll kind of get a little bit more organized where you know, for these. Yes, we'll go over some more of them later because I'm glad you guys are. I'm going to do the Idaho, and then it's just I wanted to do where I went over, you know, everybody speaking out on Idaho 4 and then talk about my reaction to like that documentary and maybe have a panel if people want to come up and give their thoughts. Okay, good. I'm glad. I don't know why I was just being paranoid that everybody was bored. Okay. All right, guys. Wait. Don't leave. Hold on. I'm going to put it up right now and then I'm going to redirect you. Hold on a second. Don't leave, guys. Because I like to redirect. Okay, what can I name? What can I name it? Hold on. I need to get my thumbnail. because I think I have go by what my thumbnail says. Kind of use remind me. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me put it. Let's see. Okay, I might have to change the I don't know if I like the title. Okay, so I'll put it in for 11:45. I'm just gonna go run to the bathroom and then today's what? 20th. Because sometimes it'll go to the next day. Okay, so let me get the thumbnail. Hold on, don't leave, guys. You are staying with me. You're stuck. You can't leave. Okay. Oh, I don't even have. Hold on. I didn't even put Idaho 4 in that. Got to have that somewhere. Okay. I'm creating it. Okay, and then let me go and do the redirect, and then I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'm going to start it up. But I'm going to cool this down as quick as I can. All right. So what does everybody do this weekend? Anything interesting? I'm trying to think if there's been, I feel like there's been other stuff. Hold on, what else has happened in the true crime world? Why do I feel like there's been something else? Oh, that feels so good. The air. Oh, bring it. Bring it. Okay, so I'm going to redirect. Redirect. So I still got, like I said, I still got the Erica calls I'm working on to get out. I still got to finish the kiosk messages stuff or the Wade stuff. So I still got that. I'm working on the Lori Vallow series where I'm condensing some of the old interesting stuff because there's a lot of people that started following it like recently or not 5 or 6 years ago where they might not have seen some of this stuff, which I see because some people are like, oh, I've never seen this or heard of this. Trying to pick the most interesting stuff. So what else am I working on? Oh, I've ordered a bunch of stuff. The last week I've ordered a bunch of stuff, so I'm waiting to see what that coming. And you guys, the 23rd sentencing. Come watch it with me. I'm gonna live stream the sentencing. And then wait, I'm not done. Then let me look at my calendar. The 25th, I think it is Shonda hearing. So I don't know if that's gonna be live streamed or not, but I ordered that document too, so I'm hoping I get it in before that so I could read like her whole thing of why she wants a retrial, but the hearing's supposed to be the 25th. So we have that coming up, which I'm going to live stream if they do it live, or I might just have to do a video. So we got a lot of stuff. I'm all over the place with a bunch of different different cases. I'm still putting out the rest of the Ezra stuff too, guys. So make sure you always check my pre-records, please. And like I said, I think I ordered like 5 stuff this week of file stuff types things. All right, so I got it redirected. So when I end this, it should redirect you. Yes, I think I have 8. I wrote down, so remember when they were saying it on that last hearing, I wrote it down and I put 8 a.m. So I'm thinking that it said 8. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to when because they remember they say it, they discuss it on that one hearing of what time it will be, the sentencing. But I'm pretty sure 8 a.m. because I wrote that down when I was watching it. So hold on, the 23rd. Shoot. Well, 8 a.m. Wait a minute. They're on different time. I think it's hold on. Remember? They have a different time than it's not East. Hold on. Well, I'll tell you in the next live because I think it's like gonna be 10. I think they're 2-hour difference. So I think hold on. I'm looking it up. Yes. So it will be 10 a.m. is when it'll start. And they're usually lit like a late, but 10 a.m. Okay. I know I feel like I have an appointment that day, but how do I have this up? All right. So I'm gonna, like I said, for the item, I'm just gonna play some interviews I collected, go over my reaction, and then if people want to join the panel and talk about their reaction, okay? I'm gonna end this. Shonda, yes, and don't forget my Patreon poll calls, you guys. Here, hold on. I got so much going on right now. It's crazy. Okay, so that's. Hold on 1 second. If I'll do a link, okay, the link to my Patreon, if you want to just go straight to my Patreon, or if you want to, hold on. I'm going to like do a link to the first. Wait, how do I? Hold on. I'm trying to. Oh, where's that? Usually I could get. I'm just like Patreon is set up all different. Plus, I never was that familiar with Patreon, like their platform, like how it all works. So sometimes it gets confusing. But I'm trying to send like a link to you guys just on that one, the first call that you can get to it. But why can't I? Oh, dashboard, I think. Okay, hold on. I think. Yeah, here we go. This will be the first call. If you want to join, here's the link to join, or you could just join, or you could just go to my Patreon link, whatever way is easier. That, or if you're interested. I already have 3 calls up, and so basically I'll probably post things there that I can't post on YouTube. So, it's maybe files I get in that's not appropriate for YouTube guidelines. I'll post them there. All right, guys, I'll see you in the Idaho. I'm just going to run to the bathroom, just stay in chat. I'll be there in a minute, okay?